Welcome to FiST Chat, your source for news and discussions in film science and technology, hosted by Steve Kern and Ben Warner. Visit our website at fistchat.com. Hello everyone and welcome to FiST Chat, the vodcast that features discussions on the topics of film science and technology. My name's Ben Warner and I'm joined once again in person by my good friend and colleague Steve Kern. How are we today, Steve?
I'm good, thanks. Hi Ben, hi FiST Chat fans. It's great to be here in Melbourne with you again.
Absolutely. We're doing a bit of a marathon of episodes as we tend to do, and this is the second one we're doing for today. So let's get straight into it. And this is something that piqued my interest recently because I had a hard drive fail and I lost all the data on it, and it reinforced my thoughts on making sure you have two backups of everything to make sure you keep everything. But the idea of film and video storage mediums in the 21st century, the days we're living in today, and although obviously data storage applies to that as well because it's all electronic. The idea here is that, especially in the case of us where we produce a lot of more video, but obviously films in the sense of story-driven type of productions and things like that. We shoot them on video, but we still call them films. The idea of how do you store these things long-term? And if you go back to the good old days when we started, we had still tape that we were working on. I actually started on 8mm video. And the concept that, I've just in the other room there, I've got a whole box full of digital tapes with all of, all the masters on there. And
I've got a wardrobe full of them myself, yeah.
And all of that. And whether they're going to last, the distance. These days, everything is flash-based, just about flash-based recording. We're recording this episode on a flash-based device and its storage. The whole episode we're recording today is never going to be on, say, a physical medium unless we need it to be.
Yeah, that's right.
And it gets backed up to hard drives, in effect, because, I've got lots of storage and, unfortunately, I need to have a lot of storage because, with 1080p video, you tend to chew through a lot of storage very quickly.
That's right, yeah.
Especially we're producing things quite often. So it's imperative to have all these things backed up and ensuring that you've got some sort of redundancy in terms of making sure you've always got access to it. And thankfully, with that hard drive that failed, I've got another copy in a different location. So at some stage, I'll access it and sort of bring my other copy back online so I didn't lose anything. But it's important because, if you think about films, for example, a lot of films are shot digitally these days. And there was an article in The Age which was going through this whole transition to digital filmmaking. And, obviously we've said before that all cinemas are digital screens now and are basically just pumping out digital feeds of films. We saw a film last night and, again, it was another great example of a digital feed that looked fantastic. But in this Age article that I thought was really interesting was that they were suggesting that do they back these things up on celluloid to ensure longevity?
Well, I think that's almost certain.
Okay.
Because, film and tape are still the longest or storage forms that have the most longevity. So I'm very uncomfortable. The reason I'm chuckling away to myself is because, what do? Do you have to have a lifetime's worth of hard drives? And let's face it, hard drives are on the way out.
Yeah.
So really all that's going to leave you is small transportable devices like USB sticks or flash sticks, which then are no different to tapes effectively in terms of you physically have to store them somewhere. And then the flip side is that obviously cloud-based storage is the way to go. Problems with cloud-based storage are two. At the moment, the data exchange, if you're making films, you're talking about uploading or downloading gigs.
Well, terabytes, actually.
And terabytes if you're doing it in raw format. So if I'm thinking probably more of a compressed format. But you're right, terabytes if you're talking about, a whole film shoot.
Yeah.
And you want to keep all the source material together and logged in your edit program. That's a big ask.
Yeah.
And then the question...
Well, there's no real way to do it cloud-based wise anyway, unless you had some sort of private network, which would then go back to a server that's run on hard drives anyway.
And then you'd be just hoping that they backed up your work anyway. So you're always going to want a physical copy yourself, and I really don't know what the answer is. I can see an answer for the finished product. So, for instance, I've actually had hard drives fail with my projects on there, so I can never go back and re-edit from scratch again.
Oh, well, you're not going to do the George Lucas thing and have a special edition of...
Well, I could cut the master that I've got,
yeah,
but I could never go back and actually manipulate, well, without putting together piece by piece from all the tapes. So that would never happen. So with a film, certainly you would, if it was going to get a release or if you know, a major release, you'd pay the money and get a print made. I think because at the very least, we know that you will always be able to re-access that somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
As film, because there will always be projection units of some sort. But yeah, I don't know what the answers are apart from that, Ben.
It might just be a period of transition for the time being, and that, for example, if we step away from film and video storage for the time being, if you look at, say, document storage, for example, if you were to, we'll leave, say, Apple and Google's offerings off on the side for the moment. If you have a look at SkyDrive, which has now been rebranded as OneDrive, in effect...
Just trying to confuse me, Ben.
Yeah. In effect, you could store all of your documents on the cloud.
Yeah.
And because of the nature of the way that thing works, that particular cloud hosting platform works, I should say, is that it really doesn't matter which computer you're using because your entire document storage system is on the cloud. But that only works because documents aren't large in size. So, for example, if you have a 7 gig storage limit on OneDrive and you're only putting documents on it, that'll probably get you very far.
Right.
But in this case, with film and video, especially if you've got streams of 1080p video, and we're not even getting into the higher end stuff where 2K, 4K, and whatever
8K, then following soon after.
That's a lot of data that needs to be stored, and I don't think we're anywhere near close to that stage yet. Where
it's interesting you say that, because actually, what happens now in the modern age, of course, is it's shot raw. And then you get a colorist in, for instance, and you basically have all these add-ons to creating that from your source material to your output material. And so you always have to keep the raw files, and then once you've rendered them with color or you've put some sort of effect on them, you have to save those files as well. So you're doubling the size of what you started with. So we've gone from film where what got in the camera went on the screen, and that was pretty much it. And now we've got to the point where, you're actually needing 3 times the storage.
Yeah.
Because of all the data that you're producing. Yeah, it's a bit scary.
Well, I guess maybe in the end, I obviously like to keep all the master copies of everything, which makes sense. But in theory, I guess...
and all the source material.
If you're not that fast, you could probably upload the finished product to, say, YouTube, Vimeo... and just have it up there, because they, unless you take it down or you breach one of the copyright rules, you're not going to be taken off of YouTube. So that's one way, maybe.
I think that's a really good point. Video content management systems, whether they're YouTube or other professional ones, are definitely the future of that sort of thing. Yeah. Certainly for finished material, and it means effectively load something onto YouTube. You can keep it private.
Yeah.
But it'll always be there. So if the world burns down, YouTube will still be there, and so will your film.
Well, and that's the thing. You can also use YouTube potentially for, sharing and discussing works in progress, because you can keep it in private, and you can take it off at any time that you want as well.
It's a great idea. I doubt anyone's actually using YouTube for that at the moment, but if you are, let us know, please. I'd really be interested in hearing, because I see the future of YouTube probably going down more that path.
Yeah.
Whereas rather than just a blank post.
Well, they're always continually evolving these systems, so obviously that would be a next logical step in terms of how you could use a medium like that. And you can see that would provide a great service for people if they could do that. But whether, for example, say a more professional sort of outfit, maybe, like a production company or whatnot, producing for TV or whatever, whether there's like a professional version of it. Yeah. YouTube, at the end of the day, you can get a lot of professional videos on there, but of course you've also got a lot of rubbish on there as well, amongst all the cute cat videos and whatever else that you get on there. So there might need to be, there might be an opportunity for a new VCMS maybe that is more for professional users.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah. I think,
maybe that's what we should start right now.
Yeah, maybe it's called Vimeo. I don't know. I think there's probably more of that on Vimeo, and that certainly is because that's more discussion based and it's more professional, or was always marketed as a bit more professional. Sort of forum. But you're right. I think that ultimately, you've got to take advantage of what's out there. And I think YouTube and Vimeo are great places to start.
Yeah,
in terms of backing your stuff up. Because honestly, hard drives, USB sticks, and formal cloud storage, whether it's with Apple, Google, or anyone else, usually they will charge for the sort of file sizes that you'll be uploading. And you'll get hit with the data charges as well, making them almost uneconomic.
Yeah.
So it's it's a tricky situation, but maybe in 10 years' time there'll be a simple solution.
Well, in the meantime, I guess we'll have to put up with having a bay of hard drives stored off on the side, and that's what we'll have to make do with. I mean,
we've grown up with that, so at least it's nothing new.
And at least they're cheap enough at the moment, because it's quite ridiculous. You can get like a 3 terabyte hard drive for $100 or $150, something like that, and obviously, if you want something a bit better quality, you have to pay a bit more. Yeah. But most of the time, these hard drives work pretty well. But unless you get the dud that I got, which failed on cue.
But we've all had those over the last 15 years. The hard drive came out of the box and stopped working as soon as you put something important on it.
Well, I'm amazed that I haven't had it happen before. Actually, this is one of the first times where it's really been a problem.
Yeah. I had one of my first external hard drives when I started editing projects failed as soon as I put something important on it before I could back it up.
And you learned your lesson then, yeah?
Just learnt my lesson never to do anything important.
All right, we might wrap it up there. So thanks again, Steve, for the chat.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks, FiST Chat fans. Let us know, actually, if you do use any of those or if you have any clever storage tricks.
Yeah, if you've got any storage solutions, let us know. Then we'll start using them. All right, so don't forget our website, FiSTChat.com. You can get all of our links there. We've got our ebook, The FiST Report, at fistreport.com. The 2012 and 13 versions are available and ready to peruse and do with as you wish on any device that you like.
Absolutely.
We've got our weekly blogs, photography on Instagram and Flickr, and recommend us to anyone who you think may be interested in our weekly discussions on film science and technology. We'd much appreciate that. All right, so that's it for this episode, so we'll catch you next time.